institutional and boring and restrictive. Well, that's not what it's like today. They are more like living in a premium boutique hotel, and we're going to explore that more in detail with our wonderful guest, Pamela Nitert, who is the Community Relations Director for an Amica property right here in the Markham area. Pamela, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to see you both, Caroline and Renee.
And thank you for being here. And of course, I'm joined with my wonderful partner, Carolina Billings. And we're going to dive right in because this is something that we are very curious about. For anyone who hasn't walked into an Amica lately or in the last, I don't know, 3-5 years, it is a totally different vibe. I mean, I remember the first time walking into one, I'm thinking, oh, wow, I could certainly live here. It does have that that lighthearted vacation resort kind of feeling to it. Tell us more about how the concept of lifestyle and how they've really integrated that into their properties.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all Amica properties right across Canada and in British Columbia and Ontario, I think that each of the properties has a unique feel to them, depending on where they're located and depending on who the residents are that they are attracting to their property. We are so fortunate here at Swan Lake because we have a beautiful environment that our property surrounds with walking trails. We have a lake and we have swans as well.
I was just going to say, just the names, you had me at Swan Lake.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible when you see 2 or 3 little swans come back in the spring. And apparently it's not even like habitual for them to always come back to the same place, but we do attract swans. And we have over 137 bird species as well. So Swan Lake is it's a nature's lover's paradise, we always say. And for people that love to walk and love to be outside, it's a great building for that. Just like we have a sister property across Markham, 5 kilometers from here, Amica Unionville, and it has a completely different look and feel. And it appeals to a little bit of a younger senior, a little bit more independent. They do lots of activities there too that are very geared to, they maybe take advantage of the downtown core more and a bit more of shows and things like that. But that all comes and loops back to, Renee, what you were saying, that every Amica has a lifestyle that we are creating within our buildings that is geared and specific to the people that are living here. Yeah. So one of the things that we do is we have a life enrichment team, and that life enrichment team gets to know each and every individual resident, and you'll see that our programming and our activities shift. So we might have a resident who comes in and he is a big woodworker, and we've never had woodworking as one of our activities, but that might be something that we offer because that's something that's geared to him. And lo and behold, we might have 5, 10, 15 people that might attend that. And then we have a new hobby or a new activity. And so you will see that it's reflective of the people that are in the community. But what we try to do is really, really focus on making sure that the activities are geared to the people that are living in the building, because this is their home. This Correct. Is the way that they want to retire, and they want the rest of their days to be spent. So we want to make sure that we're doing what they would like.
You know, what I love about your facility, first of all, is a bit of an oasis mirage, because you are in the middle pretty much of Markham, which now touches Stouffville. For our friends that are not familiar with, seriously, you need to come visit. But we're Markham Northeast, right? Is the suburbs right outside the GTA, and they used to at one point be separate towns, but now it just pretty much the city touches all the way to Stouffville. So to have a lake with swans in the middle of it is surreal. Like, from the minute you enter, it's just, you are in such a lovely land. And what I love is the proximity to the city because it makes it easy. It's like you're retiring in the city, but you're not in the city, but people are still close enough to come see you anytime, right? Like it's, I don't know how, for the longest time, up until I met Renee, who has done tons of work with you guys, um, I had never been to your facility because from the road, even from the road to get there, you don't see it.
Right.
But then once you go inside, it's like, whoa, like you guys said, it's almost like being on vacation, which
Yeah.
is really what retirement is supposed to be like.
Well, that's a really good point, Carolina, because I think what a lot of people think and do and expect is to wait until you're really old, right? Or you have mobility issues or a health crisis in order to seek out these senior lifestyle residences. But the trend, at least I'm seeing, is more and more people are choosing to move and to at least explore them younger in age. Do you find that, Pamela, so that they can actually enjoy all of the things that you're offering?
Yeah, we really see that, Renee. And where we see it, so like you had alluded to before, and you had spoke to, what senior living was historically. It was that terrible terminology of an old age home, or a nursing home. And seniors felt that when they would go to any place that was not their home, it meant they were going to an institution that was care based, but more like a hospital, or more
Yes.
like a bit more of an institutional setting. And that is not at all. I mean, Amica is premium living, and certainly premium in the senior lifestyle space. And we've defined that and carved that out. But what all of myself, my colleagues, I think one thing that we're seeing, and it's a slow transition, but it's happening. And you know what? It warms my heart, because when I'm sitting in a room having a meeting with a family, there is almost permission now from kids to say, you deserve this. You deserve to live and use your money. The financial, the financial nest that many of these seniors have built, because they've done a super job of saving their money, probably more so. We don't think of it now. We plan for retirement. They didn't necessarily plan for retirement. They, held on to and Renee, you see this in real estate. They held on to the 3,000 square foot house that has 2 stories and lots of stairs that are tricky to navigate, and rooms that are not being utilized in their house, but they're holding on to that because that's their financial freedom. And so now we're seeing a shift where people are starting to say it's okay to use our savings, to start using our investments, and to have a life and live the last 10, 20, 20, we hope, obviously, for many people, live your life the way you want to live it, and do the things that make you happy. There's so many times where we'll see, like, somebody will say, oh, I can't live without my kitchen. And we're like, well, what is it you're doing in your kitchen? Well, I love to bake banana bread. Well, guess what? We're going to let you bake banana bread because we have a craft kitchen. And we have a life enrichment team that's going to go out and buy all the ingredients, and they're going to make an activity out of that. And you get to be the one that bakes the banana bread with the 5 other residents that might want to do that day. And you're going to get that fulfilled for yourself, but you don't need a kitchen to do that. We're going to let you still fulfill that small thing that you love to do.
Yeah.
And so, more and more, I think that we're seeing that families are being very supportive of their parents. And that's the shift. It's going to take time, because obviously, it doesn't happen overnight, but we're starting to see that, where it's okay to use your money. And not only is it okay, but let's plan for that. Let's plan for your 1 bedroom facing the lake with a balcony, because you love nature and you want to sit.
I'm ready to go. I'm coming next Friday.
Yeah,
Would you like a roommate?
And you come next Friday, I'm going to show you a suite that's going to knock
Oh,
your socks off.
that's got my name written on it. But what I wanted to say is that, first of all, a couple of points you ladies made is that really Hollywood and TV, like when we say Hollywood, it's like media, right?
Mhm.
From calling it an old age home, like I'm thinking Golden Girls. I don't know if you guys remember when the daughter used to keep threatening the mom, like Golden Pines or whatever, the retirement home, as a threat.
Yeah.
So really, we have completely misunderstood, especially in Canada, where this is new. You guys are truly the one of the pioneers of retirement living, because this is common in the US, but in Canada, and it's part of where Amica is part of research that I'm doing in where do women, single women retire, right? And what is that lifestyle like? So you guys, is I love that it's a lifestyle and it's not punitive. I love that you are shifting the narrative and really showing it's like in the cost, because you were saying saving for, right? Like, is this burden or onerous expense? But the reality is, and I've done the math, all of the expenses that you pay to live where you are is going to cost you the same or less by the time you switch over to premium living with Amica. And I'm not getting paid to say that. It's just, I don't like it when we make assumptions or decisions based on misinformation.
That's right. And I think
Well, they hear what people do is they hear what maybe the monthly fee is for that one bedroom suite facing the lake, and they think,
Which is
oh my
mine.
God, I can't afford that, right? But you're right. And we always tell people when we start this right sizing process with them is to go speak to your financial advisor, because
Yep.
by time you look at, the pensions that you're perhaps receiving, what, your $1.3 million home, if you're putting $1 million in the bank, or not in the bank, but investing it, what that will yield on a monthly
The
basis.
cost of food, the cost of utility, like by the time you add everything, it's like eating, oftentimes people say the cake is expensive, but yes, it's not cheap, but it's one price. Where if you go to other places, it's like, yes, the initial price is less, but everything is extra. So you end up spending more at the less expensive place than, a well-known steakhouse, right?
Oh,
So
you mean the
is
a la carte?
yeah,
All
well,
the
by the time you
appetizers.
add all the, and you see it, everybody's beginning to shift their understanding of retirement. You hear a lot about people that retire in cruises, that they just go on a cruise forever, right? And people think it's mad expensive, and they're like, no, by the time we add all the expenses one by one, it's actually cheaper to be on a cruise forever, right?
Mm.
Yep.
And that is what we need to reimagine our golden years in a prime lifestyle with Pam.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what else I think is so important is that when you choose retirement living in a place like Amica, you are choosing to be able to age in place. So
Yes.
you maybe have already gone down the road of a little bit of home care. Maybe you got to a point where home care started, the cost of home care very quickly can be very, very prohibitive for many families. Um, because we all know the cost is quite high hourly for home care. And to your point, Carolina, it's all of these fees that add up over time that actually end up being way more than it would be to be in some to a place like Amica where you're having exceptional food and you have a lifestyle and life enrichment happening for yourself every
I
single
love
day.
that, because
And
the
it,
life
yes.
enrichment, before we go too far on that, life enrichment, because I'm a Renee is like a social butterfly in her home, is like the place to hang out, but I'm a single person, right? And I live on my own, and I have solo tendencies. right? That if, I could easily go a week without leaving my house if it were up to me, right? It takes like my friends and my family to say, my son, like, you need to get out. So that mind lifestyle enrichment will keep you younger longer.
Absolutely.
I didn't mean to rhyme. That just came.
No.
Mhm.
And it's proven, study after study shows that, and even if the socialization is saying hi to the gentleman that lives next to you, and having your morning ritual where you see each other in the elevator, even those small interactions can go a long way in a person's day.
Mhm.
And so, that is happening on a daily basis,
Mhm.
whether it's through our life enrichment activities, or whether it's through our special shows or our parties, or we do this amazing thing called Sip and Savor every quarter, where our support office tells us what country to feature, and every property features a country, and we showcase our culinary team.
Oh,
um,
wow.
and we do, yes, so it's French Riviera in June, and so we're doing everything French, and as you
Which
can
day?
imagine, yes,
What
and
time?
yes, June 4th, 2 to 4.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've had your food, and both Renee and I are a little picky when it comes to eating, and we love your food.
Well, that's good, because
Mhm.
we just
Yeah.
actually, every Amica, I don't know if you've ever heard the term red seal, but a red seal is the highest accreditation that you can get in the trade, of culinary. And I think it's 8,600 hours of combination of in classroom work, as well as in the kitchen, doing the apprenticeship under a Red Seal chef. And so every Amica has a Red Seal chef at the helm. And then we have a director of culinary who oversees, like a national director who oversees the whole culinary program.
Wow.
Amica prides itself on a couple of things. Number one, we try to source seasonally when we can. We try to source locally. So, in the fall, you're going to have apples, and you're going to have squash, and you're going to have all those delicious root vegetable dishes, because that's the fall vegetables. I mean, and so what happens is our menu changes on a seasonal basis.
Wow.
So our residents are always being given options, and the options are, frankly, they're fantastic. They're delicious. You're never going to find a meal like that. When we have guests that come, they're like, I can't go to my local restaurant and get even close to this quality for
Yeah.
this. So this is
Mhm.
because we always love when families invite our residents invite their families and their friends to come for dinner, because it gives us an opportunity to showcase our food.
Mhm. Well
Wow.
said. And let's circle back to something that you said, Pamela, that was, I think, super important. And I know I stress in the right sizing consults that I do, is that at least the Amica brand, and there are a few others that can do this, but not all of the retirement residences out there can take someone all the way to their last breath.
That's right.
And every time I mention this, my husband gives me a little kick under the table because he feels uncomfortable when I bring this up with clients. But I say, you need to think that through, because if you choose certain retirement residences, they and your health goes sideways, there might be yet another move. You might have to move at your most vulnerable and sick time to a place that can handle you. And we actually had that happen. My mother-in-law, we put her into a place where her friends were, and they couldn't, because of her size, and she lost her mobility due to a fractured shoulder. She could no longer pull her. Anyway, it took more than a two-person lift. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, it was a three-person lift. So they couldn't accommodate that. So we had to move her out. We chose Amica, and didn't have to think twice about it again. And that's something that's really important, is to have your loved one in a place where you won't have to move them again, unless you choose to, but due to sickness or health.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it is the biggest differentiator, and one of the reasons I personally wanted to work for Amica is because of a personal situation with my own mother-in-law and seeing how care was delivered in another environment. And Amica's care is exceptional.
I agree.
It is definitely, in my opinion, it is one of the biggest differentiators that we have in the marketplace. When, we have a director of wellness that is in the building, we have two care coordinators. We have one that is dedicated to our memory care, and we have one that is a resident service coordinator who manages all our PSW team. Our PSW team, their actual titles are called resident care partners, and that's because they just do that much more. Like they are the first partner for every resident. They help them eat. Sometimes they'll do a sweet tidy. They just do so much more. And so we are so fortunate at Amica because those teams, that's our staff. We have the ability to give them enhanced training if they want. We have dedicated medication care partners. All of those things are the things that are the differences between us and other senior living environments. And lots of senior living environments doing a good job of senior living. Don't get me wrong. I just feel that for Amica, it's exceptional.
Yeah, there is a difference for sure. And even so, Amica Swan Lake has done a recent renovation, which you are going to be unveiling to the world in June.
Yep.
And one thing that really struck me when you were speaking with our management team is that you, Amica Swan Lake, in your memory care neighborhood, I think you call it, is that you've now incorporated an outdoor patio. Tell us about that, because to me, the dignity that you brought to that cohort of people who are, inflicted with memory issues just blew me away.
Yeah, we're so excited about that. So, it's the first ever outdoor courtyard. It's completely self-contained. It's got 10-foot beautiful fencing all around the courtyard. It's got pergolas, walking paths, raised individual garden beds where residents are going to have the ability to go out there and dabble in one of maybe their favorite hobbies. If they want to put their hands in the dirt, they can. One thing that comes with dementia is often you see behavior, and I'm not sure if you've heard the term, but it's called sundowning. And that's where sometimes after the sun goes down, maybe it's 8 p.m., maybe it's 3 a.m, sometimes residents want to walk around, they want to move, they want to do something, they don't want to be in their bed, or maybe they just come out of their room. This courtyard, if somebody wanted to go out on a nice balmy 22-degree evening in the summer and walk on the paths, our resident care partner would be able to watch them or walk with them and do that at 2 a.m. That could happen, just like they could go into our lounge where we have an entire sensory wall. And the sensory wall has everything that it's exactly kind of what it says. It's the touch. It's the ability to, move little wooden dowels, feel something fuzzy. It's again, it stimulates the mind. And Amica has really in the last couple of years just doing more and more research on how we can provide memory care and just up the game in that specific area of taking care of seniors that have cognition challenges, they have dementia, they have Alzheimer's, and that might be there's so many different types.
And that is a special section. So
it is. And you know what, and I want to just, sorry, Caroline.
No, please.
That section is really, not everyone needs to be in a neighborhood that's secure like that, but that section is for the the people that might be, they might be exit seeking or elopement risks, or they might have behaviors that, just like I said, they might be sundowning and they might be walking. We can't have people walking around maybe on our assisted living floor and potentially disturbing other residents. They might be better suited for a memory care floor, but it's not for everybody. It's for very specific behaviors within those sort of under that cognition umbrella, and we have so many specialists that could talk about that like in such detail that they could probably talk to you for the entire time of this podcast about memory care.
The word seniors. So who are seniors? What's the youngest people that, because this is retirement lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So who are some of the youngest people that come and choose to live in your community?
You know what? Every Amica is really different.
Okay.
We have residents as young as 65 to 69.
Okay.
We have residents that actually have lived really long and joyous lives. We have 5 residents who are between the ages of 100 and 105.
Wow, that is amazing.
Earlier this year, we celebrated one of our residents' 105th birthday, and she's lovely. Every day we see her, and she just walks. Well, she doesn't. She walks with her feet, with her wheelchair. She moves around the residence, but she's a highlight in all of our day.
That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
Even the vibe. And I agree with you. Every property, and I haven't been into more than I think I've been into 7 or 8. But anyway, I guess that's a lot.
Renee does. She speaks at various Amicas, which we all appreciate. You do.
Yes, and in
focused on seniors. Yeah.
Yes, in the GTA, each one does have a different vibe to it. Though I'm always struck by when I walk into the dining room. I always like to peek my head in and see, what they're eating and what's happening. But the conversation, like it's actually people, there are round tables of 4s and 6s and different sizes, and people are having conversations, and it's very lively, as opposed to, again, that stereotype of just, eating your soup and like it's. So here's a question for you. People who are afraid to or concerned about leaving the family home, maybe as Carolina said, single women, or even a couple, but I think more for singles. Is there some sort of fear of losing their independence? Because right now I've got a house, then I wear the hat of house maintenance.
I am queen of the queen of the castle.
Queen of the castle. I'm the shopper. I'm all these things, right? So what happens when they move into, I guess, do you see like a shift in independence in any way?
I would say often it is a challenge for people to sometimes get their heads wrapped around that next step. And we always say to them, reflect where you want to be. Where would you like to be in 5 years, in 8 years, in 10 years? And I think for many seniors, they don't think like that. They just see that I'm getting older, and they're seeing the things they can't do. They don't think about the things they can do. And we want them to say, look at where you maybe want to be. And I always say to people when we do tours, I say, is it a hard transition? It can be, yes. Some people it's not, but some people it is. Some people it might take.
Some people, all transition is hard.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. But our team, our whole leadership team, is super dialed in to a new resident coming in, and we do everything we can to make sure that resident, where their pain points are, we're addressing it in some way. So maybe it's going to the dining room and they don't want to sit alone. We make sure that we've got a couple of residents who are so fantastic at like saying, oh, I'll sit with someone if they're a new resident. I'll welcome them. I'll show them to I'll bring them to bingo.
Like
or
elementary school all
Yeah.
over again.
I know, but it kind of works. It really does. I think anybody, it doesn't matter what age you are, it's nice to feel welcomed by somebody and to kind of be
Absolutely.
taken under someone's wing, right? And know that you've got like that one person that you can speak to. And we have a couple of residents within our building that are really like that. They're really, really, like I'd like to use the word ambassador, but we don't actually call them anything.
They're
But
the welcome wagon.
yeah, like they're like they kind of like yeah.
They're ambassadors.
Yeah.
Really. So, unofficial ambassadors, but they're doing it for the passion of it, which usually is a greater gift, right?
Yep.
So we are thrilled that you in Amica Unionville, Amica Swan Lake and Amica Unionville, are sponsors of our September 12th Living Your Prime event. And we'll get to hear more about Amica Unionville as well, and see what their program is like, what their feel is like. But you guys are going to be there. You're bringing your delicious food, and you're our lunch sponsor. And of course, we look forward to finding out more about it. And I'm new to our relationship with Amica since I began collaborating with Renee, and I love you guys. Like, I cannot believe that more people don't know about these. So it's my job to make sure that everyone knows that it's an option, and it's an option worth exploring. So thank you so much, Pamela. I know we will be speaking more with you because this is a very important topic, and we cannot possibly do it justice in 30 minutes. So, Renee, any last minute words?
I know I'm really happy that you came on board for today's podcast, and I think that the September 12th event, everyone's going to have a real great time and experience with this Red Seal chef lunch that's going to be provided. And maybe we can hear a bit from you folks from the Amica gals on the microphone as well. So Saturday, September 12th, Living Your Prime. Tickets are on sale now. All of the details are below. Head to our website, join our community. We are making it happen. And we appreciate you being here to Unfiltered, Proudly in Your Prime. Everyone, see you next time.
Thank you, Pamela. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you both. Thank you.
Next time.
Thank you.